Hi, James from NCC here. Welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be covering the second part of the video series following the CompTIA A+ certification, covering both exams, the Core 1, 1101, and the Core 2, the 1102 exams. Today we'll be looking at the motherboards and CPUs. Friendly reminder to subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell icon to get notifications of when new videos get released. Always make sure that you are well enough prepared for the exam. So that brings us to our very first question. Question number 1. After booting up a new computer, the machine's lights and fans activate, yet there are 3 distinct beeps when starting up. What should be done to fix the problem? A. Reinstall the operating system. B. Replace the hard drive. C. Check the CPU. Or D. Check if the RAM is properly seated. Correct answer here, D. Check if the RAM is properly seated. Now, beep codes often indicate a hardware issue. 3 beeps typically signal a RAM problem, and reseating the RAM may resolve the problem. Incorrect answers. A. Reinstalling the OS. This wouldn't affect hardware issues like improperly seated RAM. B. Replace the hard drive. Now, a hard drive issue typically wouldn't trigger a beep code. C. Check the CPU. Now, 3 beeps are more commonly associated with RAM than a CPU issue. Question 2. Before we go on with this question, sometimes you'll find that a lot of the questions look similar, have similar answers, but you need to read very carefully. Remember, read the question carefully. Make sure you understand what is asked before going through the options. That way you'll always be 100% sure that you choose the correct answer. Getting on with the question, a technician unboxed a new computer, plugged it into a UPS, and connected the requested peripherals. The computer lights and fans turn on, but the technician hears 3 loud consecutive beeps during boot. Which of the following actions will remediate the issue? A. Replacing the power supply. B. Replacing the UPS. C. Changing the CMOS battery. Or D. Reseating the RAM. Correct answer, reseating the RAM. 3 consecutive beeps on boot are commonly associated with a memory or RAM issue. This pattern indicates that the computer is not detecting the RAM correctly, possibly because it is not seated properly in its slot. Reseating the RAM modules, in other words, removing and reinserting them securely, often resolves this type of issue. Incorrect answers. Replacing the power supply. Again, a computer is powering on, so the power supply is likely not the issue. Replacing the UPS. Now, the UPS or uninterruptible power supply would not cause beeps during boot. It only supplies power. C. Changing the CMOS battery. Now, a dead or weak CMOS battery might cause date and time errors or BIOS settings to reset, but it would not typically produce 3 consecutive beeps. Question 3. A company wants to use client-side virtualization for application testing. Which of the following configurations would best support this goal? A. A CPU of 2.5 GHz with 4 cores, 16 GB DDR4 RAM, 1 TB SSD. B. A CPU of 3.2 GHz with 1 core, 16 GB of DDR4 RAM, and a 4 TB SSD. C. CPU of 2.5 GHz with 2 cores, 16 GB of DDR4 RAM, and 4 by 1 TB HDDs configured in a RAID 5 D, a CPU of 3.2 GHz with 4 cores, 8 GB DDR4 RAM, and a 500 GB HDD. Correct answer here is number A, the CPU of 2.5 GHz with 4 cores, 16 GB of DDR4 RAM, and a 1 TB SSD. Client-side virtualization requires significant or sufficient processing power, memory, and fast storage to effectively run virtual machines. Here's why this configuration is ideal. First, the CPU of 2.5 GHz with 4 cores. Now, virtual machines benefit from multiple CPU cores to handle parallel processing. A 4-core CPU provides enough computational power for running multiple VMs or resource-intensive applications. 16 GB DDR4 RAM. Now, that is adequate. Memory is crucial as each VM consumes a portion of the host's system RAM. Now, 16 GB ensure enough memory for the host and also several VMs to operate smoothly. A 1 TB SSD. We all know that SSDs are faster than traditional HDDs, significantly improving performance for virtualization tasks, including VM boot times and application execution. Incorrect answers: a CPU of 3.1 or 3.2 GHz with 1 core, 16 GB RAM, 4 TB SSD. Now, while the SSD offers ample storage, the big problem here is the single core CPU, which is a major bottleneck for virtualization, which relies on multiple cores for multitasking. C, a CPU of 2.5 GHz with 2 cores, 16 GB DDR4 RAM, and 4 1 TB HDDs. Now, while RAID 5 provides redundancy and decent read performance, HDDs are still slower than SSDs. The 2-core CPU also limits virtualization performance. D, a CPU of 3.2 GHz, 4 cores, 8 GB RAM, 500 GB HDD. Now, although the CPU is powerful, the limited RAM and also the slower HDD would restrict the system's ability to effectively run multiple VMs. Question 4. Technician is upgrading a faulty motherboard that was ordered by an end user for an old high-end desktop computer. However, the technician is unable to install the CPU into the socket. Upon closer inspection, the technician noticed the pins on the CPU do not line up with the socket. Which of the following would be the best course of action for the technician to take next? A, try to set as many pins as possible. B, install an adapter to create a universal socket. C, verify the socket type and manufacturer. D, find a compatible motherboard for the CPU. Correct answer, verify the socket type and manufacturer. Now, before proceeding further, the technician should verify the socket type and manufacturer to ensure the motherboard and CPU are compatible. Modern CPUs are designed to fit specific socket types. Example there is an LGA 1200 or an AM4. And if the pins do not align, it indicates a mismatch between the CPU and motherboard socket. Verifying compatibility will clarify whether the motherboard is suitable for the CPU or if a different motherboard or CPU is required. Incorrect answers: try to set as many pins as possible. Not a good idea because forcing the CPU into the socket risks damaging both the CPU and the motherboard, which could lead to further issues and void warranties. Install an adapter to create a universal socket. Now, adapters for CPU sockets are not a practical or standard solution, as CPUs and motherboards are designed to work with specific sockets. Using an adapter is likely to cause performance and reliability issues. D, find a compatible motherboard for the CPU. While this may eventually be the right solution, the technician should first verify the socket type and manufacturer to confirm whether the current motherboard is compatible. Question 5. When a desktop computer's clock resets after being turned off and presents an error message about the date and time on startup, which would be a logical next step in troubleshooting the issue? A. Reinstall the OS. B. Replace the hard drive. C. Replace the CMOS battery. Or D. Update the BIOS. Correct answer, replace the CMOS battery. Now the CMOS battery maintains system settings like the clock. If it fails, the clock resets on shutdown. Incorrect answers, reinstalling the OS. Operating system reinstallation wouldn't fix a CMOS battery issue. Replacing the hard drive, now the hard drive doesn't impact system clock settings. Update the BIOS. A BIOS update wouldn't solve issues caused by a dead CMOS battery. Question number 6. An end user reports that the date and time on a desktop resets after shutdown and subsequently the device reboots. The next day, the desktop does not load the OS and is stuck in a black screen with the following message: date time not set, press F1 to run setup. Now, which of the following would be the best action to take? A. Change the motherboard. B. Reset the motherboard power connections. C. Replace the CMOS battery. Or D. Restore the BIOS to factory default settings. Correct answer, same as the previous question, replace the CMOS battery. CMOS battery powers the motherboard's BIOS memory, retaining system settings like date time when the computer is powered off. If the battery is depleted, the date and time will reset after each shutdown, and the system may display errors related to date and time settings. Replacing the CMOS battery will resolve this issue. Incorrect answers, changing the motherboard. Replacing the entire motherboard is unnecessary and costly for a simple issue related to a CMOS battery. Reset the motherboard power connections. Power connections to the motherboard do not affect the BIOS settings or time retention. Restore the BIOS to factory defaults. Resetting the BIOS will not fix the issue as it doesn't address the loss of power to maintain the settings. The battery itself needs replacement. Question 7. A technician is diagnosing a workstation that shuts down unexpectedly during a burn-in test. Which of the following is the most likely cause of this symptom? Faulty CMOS battery, an OS update issue, overheating, or faulty RAM? Correct answer, overheating. Now, a burn-in test is designed to stress the hardware components of a workstation to check for stability and performance under load. If the workstation shuts down unexpectedly during the test, it is most likely due to overheating. High temperatures can trigger thermal protection mechanisms in the CPU, GPU, or motherboard, causing the system to shut down to prevent damage. Incorrect answers, a faulty CMOS battery. It typically causes issue with maintaining the BIOS settings, for instance, the date and time, but does not lead to shutdowns under heavy load. Operating system updates are not related to a stress induced by a burn-in test and are unlikely to cause a sudden shutdown during such a test. Faulty RAM may cause errors, crashes, or freezes, but typically does not result in unexpected shutdowns during a high-stress operation like a burn-in test. Question 8. A technician is troubleshooting a computer that is not completing the post and gets stuck at the manufacturer logo screen. All internal removable parts have been disconnected and only the minimal parts necessary to post are reconnected. However, the symptoms remain the same. Which of the following should the technician try next? A. Test the RAM in a different slot, one at a time. B. Remove and test the power supply. C. Replace the motherboard. D. Change the CMOS battery. Correct answer, remove and test the power supply. If a computer gets stuck at the manufacturer logo screen and does not complete the post power on self-test, it often indicates a hardware issue, especially with the power supply or the motherboard, since the technician has already disconnected all internal and removable parts. The next logical step is to remove and test the power supply. An inadequate or failing power supply may not provide enough power to complete the post, even if it powers on the system enough to display the manufacturer logo. Incorrect answers. Test the RAM in different slots, one at a time. While testing the RAM in different slots can help troubleshoot post issues, the fact that the system isn't even completing the post suggests the problem might be more fundamental, such as with the power supply or the motherboard. Replace the motherboard. Now, replacing the motherboard should be a last resort. It's more efficient to first check simpler potential causes, such as the power supply, before assuming the motherboard is faulty. Change the CMOS battery. While a dead CMOS battery can sometimes cause post failures, particularly issues with system settings, it's less likely to cause the system to get stuck at the logo screen. It's more of an unlikely cause compared to a faulty power supply. Question number 9. New memory modules were installed in several Windows desktops, but some users are still reporting performance issues. Upon investigation, a system administrator noticed the desktop has not recognized the new memory modules. Which of the following should the system administrator perform to help resolve the issue? A. Configure appropriate settings within the BIOS. B. Replace the RAM. C. Modify the boot.ini file. D. Install the required drivers through the control panel. Correct answer here, configure the appropriate settings within the BIOS. When new memory modules are installed in a desktop computer and are not recognized by the system, it is often necessary to check and configure the appropriate settings in the BIOS. Now, the BIOS controls low-level hardware settings and configuration, including memory detection. Sometimes the system may need to manually enable or adjust settings related to memory, such as configuring the memory size or speed, or enabling features like memory remapping for larger RAM configurations. In some cases, the system may not automatically detect the new memory, especially if the BIOS settings are not configured correctly, or if the new memory is not compatible with the motherboard. Incorrect answers, replace the RAM. The issue is not necessarily faulty RAM. The new memory modules may be perfectly functional, but the system is simply not recognizing them due to a BIOS configuration issue. Replacing the RAM should be a last resort after verifying the BIOS settings. C. Modify the boot.ini file. Now, the boot.ini file is related to the boot configuration in older versions of Windows, primarily Windows XP, and does not directly control memory recognition or configuration. This option is irrelevant to the issue of recognized RAM. D. Install the required drivers through the control panel. Memory modules generally do not require specific drivers to be installed via the control panel. The operating system typically recognizes the memory automatically once it is correctly configured and recognized by the BIOS. Question number 10. The technician just finished assembling a new PC for a client. Upon post, the device presents an unspecified beep code and turns off automatically after 5 seconds. The technician double checks the bill of materials for the new build and confirms that all items have been installed. Which of the following should the technician do next? A. Ensure thermal paste is being used on the CPU. B. Check to make sure that any video cards have auxiliary power cabling connected. C. verify the header panel connector is properly connected, and D, spot check that the I/O shield from the motherboard is properly installed. Correct answer, check to make sure that any video cards have auxiliary power cabling connected. Now, the unspecified beep code and the system turning off automatically after a short period often indicate a hardware issue, specifically related to power. One of the most common issues of such behavior in a new PC build is a video card that requires additional auxiliary power. Now, typically that would be a 6-pin or an 8-pin PCIe power connector, but that has not been connected properly. Now, if a high-end graphics card is installed and does not receive adequate power, the system may fail to post power on self-test and even shut down. Incorrect answers. Ensure thermal paste is being used on the CPU. If there were an issue with thermal paste, the CPU would likely overheat after the system runs for a longer period of time, but it would not typically cause the system to shut down immediately after post. Additionally, the beep codes often relate to a hardware failure during post rather than a thermal issue. C, verifying the header panel connector is properly connected. Now, the header panel typically controls things like the power button, reset button, and LEDs. An incorrect connection here might prevent the power button from working, but it wouldn't cause the system to turn off automatically after post with a beep code. The issue described points to a more power delivery rather than the front panel connector. D, spot check that the I/O shield for the motherboard is properly installed. Now, while the I/O shield is important for protecting the motherboard and ensuring proper fit in the case, an incorrectly installed I/O shield would typically cause mechanical issue with the case, not power-related shutdowns. It also wouldn't be the cause of an unspecified beep code after post. Question 11. A user builds a new PC with parts sourced from a popular online vendor. The system boots to the OS and basic browsing works. But whenever the user opens a 4K video or starts to play a game, the system immediately shuts down. Which of the following is the most likely cause of this issue? A, the video card was installed in the wrong PCIe slot. B, the CPU heatsink was attached without adequate thermal paste. C, the SSD drives do not have enough page file. And D, the system does not have enough RAM for 4K video. Correct answer, the CPU heatsink was attached without adequate thermal paste. Now, this issue describes where the system works for basic tasks like browsing and shutdown when running the high-performance tasks like playing 4K videos or gaming, strongly suggests that overheating is causing the system to shut down as a protective measure. CPU overheating is a common issue when the thermal paste between the CPU and the heatsink is either insufficient or improperly applied. Thermal paste helps to efficiently transfer heat from the CPU to the heatsink, and without adequate paste, the CPU may overheat, especially under load, leading to a system shutdown. Now, in demanding tasks such as gaming or playing 4K videos, the CPU is under more stress, generating more heat. If the heatsink is not properly seated or lacks enough thermal paste, the CPU can overheat, causing the system to shut down to prevent damage. Incorrect answers. The video card was installed in the wrong PCIe slot. While installing the video card in the wrong PCI slot might cause other issues like lower performance, it is unlikely to cause the system to shut down completely. The system should still function, albeit at reduced performance. The SSD drivers do not have enough page file. A page file issue could potentially cause performance degradation or crashes when memory is faulty or fully utilized, but it would not likely cause an immediate shutdown. The system would instead exhibit slow performance or application crashes. it's more likely to be an overheating or hardware issue. D, the system does not have enough RAM for 4K video. If the system did not have enough RAM, it might struggle to load a large file or run intensive applications, but this would not immediately cause a shutdown. It might lead to slow performance or application crashes, but not to a complete system shutdown. Question 12. Users described or decided to build a new computer with parts purchased from a popular online vendor. The users referenced online resources to assemble the unit. However, when the user presses the power button, the new computer does not load the operating system's installer. Instead, the onboard speaker beeps and immediately reports an issue on the screen. Which of the following is most likely issue with a new build? A, the user did not plug in the processor fan. B, the user did not apply thermal paste to the CPU. C, the user did not seat the GPU correctly. D, the user did not install the power supply. Correct answer, the user did not plug in the processor's fan. Now, when building a new computer, it's crucial to ensure that all cooling components, including the CPU fan, are properly connected. Many motherboards will detect the absence of a CPU fan and immediately shut down or trigger a warning via beep codes to protect the processor from overheating. Beep code that the user is hearing is likely indicating a specific issue. If the CPU fan is not plugged in, the system may fail to boot up or will shut down immediately to prevent the CPU from overheating. Incorrect answers. The user did not apply thermal paste to the CPU. Now, while thermal paste is important for ensuring proper heat transfer between the CPU and the heatsink, failure to apply it would typically cause overheating after the system starts running for a while, not preventing it from booting. And in this case, the beep code suggests a hardware issue, preventing the boot, not an overheating issue. User did not seat the GPU correctly. And if the GPU is improperly seated, the system would usually still attempt to boot, though it might display an error related to the display output or no video. However, the absence of a working GPU would more likely result in a black screen or a no signal error, not an immediate beep code on startup. The user did not install the power supply. Now, if the power supply was not installed or connected, the system would not power on at all, or it would show no signs of life. However, in this case, the system is producing beep codes indicating that the motherboard and power supply are functional, and the issue is likely related to a specific component, such as the CPU fan. Question 13. The motherboard on a user's company laptop was recently replaced. Now the user is unable to log in using the fingerprint reader. The fingerprint reader is working, but it does not recognize the user's fingerprint. Which of the following should a technician perform first to fix the issue? A, restore the system to a previous recovery point. B, reinstall the fingerprint software. C, access the BIOS and clear the TPM. D, update the drivers and the fingerprint software. Or E, flash the newest BIOS firmware that is available. Answer, access the BIOS and clear the TPM. Now, the TPM, or your Trusted Platform Module, is a hardware component that stores encryption keys and other security-related information. Now, when the motherboard is replaced, the TPM may still contain old, hardware-specific data tied to the previous motherboard, which can prevent features like the fingerprint reader from working properly. Now, in this case, the fingerprint reader might not recognize the user's fingerprint because the TPM is still tied to the old motherboard configuration. Clearing the TPM in the BIOS will reset the security key and allow the system to reconfigure the security settings for the new motherboard, potentially solving the fingerprint recognition issue. Incorrect answers: restore the system to a previous recovery point. Now, while restoring the system might fix some issues, it would not address the underlying hardware mismatch between the TPM on the old motherboard and the new one. Clearing the TPM directly addressed the issue of hardware-related configurations. Reinstall the fingerprint software. Now, while reinstalling the fingerprint software could help, the issue likely stems from a conflict between the hardware, the fingerprint reader, and the TPM, not just the software. Clearing the TPM is more direct solution to the specific problem. Update the drivers and the fingerprint software. Updating the drivers and the software might help if the problem is software related, but since the issue seems to be related to the TPM and the motherboard change, clearing the TPM would be the first step before updating software. And drivers. Now, flash the new BIOS firmware that is available. Flashing the BIOS could help in some cases, but clearing the TPM would be more effective in addressing the issue related to hardware changes. Flashing the BIOS is generally a troubleshooting step for different kinds of hardware issues. Question 14. A technician replaces a CPU, then notices that the fans are continuously running. The computer randomly crashes after about 5 minutes. Which of the following should the technician do to prevent the issue from reoccurring? A. Apply thermal paste. B. Use trusted platform module. C. Replace the socket. Or D. Implement a secure boot. Correct answer, apply thermal paste. Checking the outlet ensures power is reaching the computer and is an easy first step. When replacing the CPU, it's essential to apply thermal paste between the CPU and the heat sink and ensure proper heat transfer. The thermal paste helps to maintain a solid thermal connection, allowing the heatsink to effectively cool the CPU. If thermal paste is not applied properly, the CPU can overheat, causing the system to shut down to prevent damage. The issue of continuous running fans and random crashes after a few minutes of use are often signs of thermal throttling or overheating due to insufficient cooling. Applying thermal paste ensures that the CPU is properly cooled, which should prevent overheating and the associated crashing. Incorrect answers. Use Trusted Platform Module or TPM. Now the TPM is a hardware security module that is used for securing encryption, keys, passwords, and other sensitive data. It is not related to preventing overheating or fixing crashing issues after CPU replacement. Replace the socket. If the socket is not physically damaged, replacing the socket is unnecessary. The issue is more likely related to thermal management rather than the socket itself. Implement Secure Boot. Secure Boot is a security feature that ensures the system boots using only trusted software. While it's important for system security, it is not related to the CPU's thermal management or preventing crashes due to overheating. Question 15. Which of the following describes a computer's ability to execute more than one program at a time? A. Multitasking. B. Multi-threading. C. Hyper-threading. Or D. Virtualization. Correct answer, multitasking. It's the ability of a computer to run more than one program or task simultaneously. It allows the operating system to switch between tasks so that it appears as though multiple programs are running at the same time, even if the system has a single processor. Multitasking can be either preemptive, in other words, the operating system controls when to switch tasks, or cooperative, tasks voluntarily give up control. Incorrect answers, multi-threading. Now this is the ability of a single program to execute multiple threads or smaller tasks within a process at the same time. Now a thread is the smallest unit of processing that can be scheduled and executed by the CPU. Multi-threading allows a program to perform multiple operations concurrently, such as downloading files, while also processing user input. Hyper-threading. Now this is a technology developed by Intel that allows a single CPU core to behave like 2 separate cores. It allows the processor to handle more tasks simultaneously by creating a virtual core or thread for better efficiency and throughput. Hyperthreading is a form of multithreading, but specifically implemented at the hardware level to enhance performance. Virtualization, now this refers to the creation of a virtual instance of hardware, such as a virtual machine, allowing one physical machine to run multiple virtual computers or VMs. Each virtual machine operates as if it were a separate physical computer, allowing multiple operating systems to run on the same hardware. Question 16. What is the primary function of the CPU in a computer? A. To execute instructions and process data. B. To store data. C. To manage power consumption. Or D. To connect to external devices. Correct answer, execute instructions and process data. Now the CPU, or Central Processing Unit, the primary function of the CPU is to execute instructions from programs, process the data, and manage the operation of the computer. It acts as the brain of the computer, performing the necessary calculations and decision-making required for tasks to be completed. Incorrect answers. Now, to store data, this is the function of memory, RAM, hard drives, not the CPU. To manage power consumption, power management is handled by the power supply and power management system, not the CPU. To connect external devices, now this is typically handled by the motherboards, I/O controllers, and peripherals, not directly by the CPU. Question 17. What is the primary function of the BIOS? To initialize hardware during the boot process, to manage power settings, to run applications, to connect to the internet. Correct answer, to initialize hardware during the boot process. Now the BIOS, also known as the Basic Input-Output System, is the firmware that is responsible for initializing and testing the system hardware, such as the CPU, RAM, storage, and other peripheral components when a computer is powered on. It also provides the lowest level interface between the operating system and the hardware. After completing this initialization process, known as the post or power on self-test, the BIOS loads the operating system from the designated boot device. Incorrect answers. To manage power settings, while the BIOS may include power management options such as sleep and wake, its primary function is not power management. Power management settings are typically configured in the BIOS, but the BIOS itself doesn't manage power like an operating system might. C, to run the applications. Now the BIOS does not run application. It prepares the system to load an operating system, which in turn is responsible for running applications. D, to connect to the internet. The BIOS does not handle networking or internet connectivity. Network connectivity is typically managed by the operating system and network drivers after the boot process is completed. Question 18. Which of the following describes the use of multiple processors in a computer? Multithreading, multiprocessing, virtualization, or D, load balancing? Correct answer, multiprocessing. Multiprocessing, same as the previous question, 2 questions ago, referred to the use of multiple processors in a computer system. Each processor operates independently or in coordination to execute tasks, increasing the overall computing power and performance. This approach is commonly used in high-performance systems where tasks are described or distributed across multiple CPUs or cores. Incorrect answers. Multithreading. Multithreading involves running multiple threads. A thread is the smallest unit of execution, and multi-threading allows tasks to be performed concurrently within the CPU. Multi-threading uses a single processor to manage multiple threads of execution, whereas the question specifically asks about multiple processors. Virtualization, it involves creating virtual versions of computing resources like operating systems, servers, storage. It allows a single physical machine to host multiple virtual machines. Virtualization is unrelated to the use of multi-processors or multiple processors. Instead, it focuses on resource allocation and simulation within a single or multi-purpose system. Load balancing. Now, load balancing is a technique used to distribute tasks across multiple servers or processors to optimize performance and ensure no single resource is overwhelmed. Load balancing focuses on distributing tasks, but it does not inherently describe the use of multiple processors within a single computer. Question 19. What type of memory is used to store the firmware of a computer's BIOS? RAM, ROM, cache, or SSD? Correct answer, ROM. Read-only memory is used to store the firmware for a computer's BIOS. Firmware is a type of software permanently written onto hardware components, and ROM is ideal for this purpose because it retains its contents even when the computer is powered off. The BIOS firmware stored in ROM provide the instructions necessary to initialize hardware during the boot process. Incorrect answers, RAM. Now, RAM is a volatile memory used to temporarily store data that the CPU needs while a computer is running. RAM loses its contents when the computer is turned off, making it unsuitable for storing firmware that must persist between power cycles. Cache. It is a small, high-speed memory located close to the CPU, used to temporarily store frequently accessed data for faster processing. Cache is used for performance enhancement during active processing and is not persistent, making it unsuitable for storing BIOS firmware. SSD. Now, an SSD is non-volatile storage used for storing files, operating system, and applications. While SSDs can store data persistently, they are not typically used for BIOS firmware. Firmware is stored in a ROM because it's embedded directly into the motherboard for reliability and security. Question 20. What is the function of the post? To check for updates, to test hardware components before booting the OS, to load the operating system, or to secure the BIOS settings. Correct answer, to test hardware components before booting the OS. Now, the post or power on self-test is a diagnostic process that runs when a computer is powered on. Its primary function is to test the hardware components on the system, such as the CPU, RAM, storage drives, and peripheral devices to ensure they are functioning correctly before the operating system is loaded. If a problem is detected, the post may produce error codes or beeps to indicate the issue. Incorrect answers. To check for updates, the post does not involve checking for updates. This is typically done by the operating system or software once the system has booted and is connected to the internet. C, to load the operating system. Now, the post occurs before the operating system is loaded. Its role is to ensure the hardware is functioning properly so that the bootloader can proceed to load the operating system. D, to secure the BIOS settings. Now, securing BIOS settings involves setting passwords or configuring options within the BIOS interface, which is unrelated to the post process. Question 21. What does the acronym BIOS stand for? basic input-output system, basic integrated operating system, binary input-output system, or binary integrated operating system. Correct answer, basic input-output system. BIOS stands for basic input-output system. It is the firmware program embedded in a computer's motherboard that initializes and tests hardware components during startup, provide for basic interface between the hardware and the operating system. The BIOS is essential for starting the computer and loading the operating system. Looking at our incorrect answers, basic integrated operating system. No, BIOS is not an operating system. It is a firmware program that provides low-level control over hardware and helps boot the operating system. Binary input-output system. While the BIOS interacts with binary instructions, its name does not include binary. The correct term is basic. Binary integrated operating system. Again, it combines incorrect terminology. The BIOS is not an operating system, nor does it directly relate to the term binary integrated. That would be the end of this video series. The next video series, we're going to be looking at the computer power supply. Friendly reminder to all of you out there, if you like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Remember to hit the bell icon to get notifications. See you in the next video.